She was here last time because she's involved with Garlic, but she's on the board.
I'd like to call our meeting of the Bennington Board of Order on July 1st, 2014.
First item on our agenda is the minutes from our last meeting.
Corrections, additions?
I make a motion to approve.
No, rules approved. Mary seconds, all in favor?
Okay, on our agenda is the witness oath statement and sign-up sheet. We ask anyone who speaks this evening to sign in over there. Our sign-up sheet includes the following oath statement. It says, I solemnly swear or under the pains of penalty of perjury, the statements I make, testimony I give, and other evidence I submit to the board and the board for hearing from this stage, true and correct to the best of my knowledge. And I'm sign sheet over there, and sign next item on our agenda is disclosure of any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest regarding the applications before the board this evening. Have any? We only have one hearing tonight. I just want to note that West Shore Management and also Citgo has withdrawn their application. So the only hearing that we have this evening is for the craft producers. The Fremont Village, it's a special event. The applicant is seeking approval to uphold that special event facility. This application was preliminarily reviewed by the application review panels. There were some concerns raised by a neighbor, so the ARP recommended that the applicant make a presentation this evening, and the neighbors here as well and respond to concerns of the property.
What made it over?
You can sit down at the end of the table.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, I'm here on behalf of Craft Producers. My name is Brian Lewis, and I'm the owner, partnership of Colgate Heights, which owns the lands upon which Camelot Village sits. Last year, Craft Producers, for the first time here in southern Vermont, put on a craft fair. It was a 3-day event, and that would be the same as for this year, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. There are really no significant changes to what they're proposing to do. It's pretty much as it was done last year. In deference to one property owner, we have increased the setback or a tape-off area so that there will be no possibility of infringement on that neighbor's land. And I have a sketch here that I will be more than happy to share with you. I don't think that there's much more that I can say. I mean, we've done this before. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I'm sorry. I'm very hard of hearing, and I've lost.
What date are you having the festival?
August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, we were talking about police, the sheriff's department.
Right.
How many officers do you plan on having?
Well, the application calls for 2. At last night's meeting, there was a discussion if it needed be, we would have 3 or a responsible adult at the crossing point where they were. I spoke with representatives of Craft Producers after our meeting last night, and they assured me that there would be an officer at that crossing point, as well as one down where the intersection is with Fox Run and Route 9. Now, if the board deems that there should be additional officers or other responsible individuals, we will see that that happens.
No, I think that satisfies the stipulation that was going to raise. Anyone else? Bruce, do you want to speak? Thank you.
I'm Bruce Kennedy. My property abuts the field that will be used for parking for this event. Thank you, the Application Review Board, for pursuing some of the points that I raised. Thank you, Mr. Lewis, for acquiescing to some of those points. This application will be reviewed, I believe, under Article 6, Table 6.1. Is that correct?
There's a specific section regarding the temporary uses of property.
Thank you. At the application review panel meeting, I had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Monks, and the question I raised was, why does the town accept and consider applications for primitive properties when there is suitable venues, both public and private, available in this town? What I'm talking about is the public one, Willow Park, the private one, Colgate Park. Mr. Monks advised me, and I'd ask you to help me if I get this wrong, please, that some time ago, the Select Board chose to allow these properties to be considered. I assume, then, that it's the responsibility of this board to determine the suitability of these primitive properties for such usage. You have reviewed the application, given the Table 6.1 requirements, but there's more to it than this. There's really a quality of life issue. When the town acquiesces to allow organizers to put events in venues that are primitive in residential areas, this influences the quality of life of those of us in Bennington. I will tell you, you will soon be hearing a lot about quality of life with the Shire's housing issue. You need to include that in your consideration.
Bruce, we can't discuss the Shires here this evening.
Excuse me?
We can only discuss this.
I'm not asking to discuss that. I'm saying that you will hear about quality of life issues in that discussion later this month. So there's a parallel here. If this board ignores quality of life of those individuals who are paying our taxes, when there are perfectly good designated venues for such events, you're shirking your duties. Thank you for your time. One more point. At the meeting, I raised the issue, Mr. Hurst said he would take it away for review. That was the fact that there are people sleeping in their vehicles on these grounds. 18 months ago, there was one venue on that primitive site. There are now two. At the last art festival, there were about 7 to 10 vehicles parked there with people sleeping in them. I wonder how that will be this year. Will it be 15? Will the year after that be 30 and bonfires? There can be a geometric explosion of this. You all know what camping venues are like at festivals in Vermont. Again, a quality of life issue. Mr. Hurst, were you able to review that issue on people sleeping in their vehicles?
I think it,
I could find Nothing in the bylaws that covers that. So that's an open issue.
Mr.
There's nothing
Harris.
that prohibits it.
As the application review chair, did you see anywhere in the application a request for people sleeping in their vehicles overnight?
Bruce, the request for this venue is only on Caroline Village property. Those fields are owned individually by people. The only way we can stop them, I'm sure, is if the owners of the property say they cannot be there. If it's private property, as long as they don't say anything, it can go on. But there's no prohibition from saying.
So there's no prohibition, let me get this straight. There's no prohibition of people sleeping in their vehicles on private land in the town of Bennington.
And that's, obviously, if they're using it as a residence, there's a health issue. But if they're there for a couple nights, we don't have any specific prohibition on that for our.
Okay, thank you. But I rest with my point about ensure that you consider quality of life in this town along with the printed requirements that you're considering. Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy, I may be missing it, but where is your property on one of these?
Immediately south of,
Pardon me?
immediately south of the parking, on the west side of the Fox Hill Road.
Here. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
It's been drawn out of that?
Got it.
Right here? Oh, up here.
Get the parking lot. That's the
There you
parking
go,
lot.
Wassa,
Runs like that.
there.
You know, it's not on here.
This is an old.
Here's the old one, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
This, sir, this,
Bruce,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Brian?
Brian,
Yes.
would you pass one of the ones that you've marked up where it's restricted to pass it down to the board?
let me see where it is.
I don't know that. Everything north and east of that blue line will not be used for parking. It's double the space, the setback space that the
Yeah.
Garlic Fest has put in.
Everything north,
South and east, you mean?
Yeah,
South-
thank you. I'm reading it upside
It is
down.
upside down, yeah.
south and east.
North is down, usually north is up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
'cause
would be south and west, actually.
Yeah.
South and west.
Parking will be,
They're not going to be in
it will
within
not
that.
be in that blue triangle.
Triangle.
This is where Mr. Kennedy's house is, right about here
Oh,
somewhere.
okay.
yeah.
And the permit from the Garlic Fest, it's about here. The attendance at this venue was between 5,500 and close to 6,000 last year over a 3-day period. So there's ample parking what we have with this over a 3-day. The Garlic Fest has a stronger attendance and it's only a 2-day event. I can understand Mr. Kennedy's concern.
Thing is, you say it's a 3-day event. However, the application calls for a presence on July 28th, and that's to set up. You set up and take down the tents. So there's a presence there more than the period of the event. Again, to my point of quality of life. Little did I know when I moved to that house, I was living on the side of a fairground. Think about that.
I think that's an exaggeration, fairground.
One more thing. Mr. Kennedy, on that chart right there, where were the RVs parked that people were living and staying in overnight, a couple
We
of
were
nights?
parked down by Route 9 and along the side of, down the bottom there on the north side, but yet west of Fox Hill Road.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Is that something?
I was going to make a motion to approve.
other questions for you? Okay. Charlie made a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Bill seconds. All in favor? Okay, Brian.
This, there's changes. Get them during the day.
Step away from the microphone. Okay, unless there's any other business,
So I make the motion.
Gotta make a motion.